What's good YouTube, Neonexus here with a Mermail deck update. This is the build that I took to my locals yesterday, which would be Saturday if you're watching this other than on a Sunday. So yeah, on Saturday the 3rd of May, today being the 4th of May, happy Star Wars Day, may the 4th be with you. So yeah, I took this to my locals. There were about 15 of us, roughly, give or take a couple of people. So rather smallish locals, but a better number than what we've had recently. And I took 4th place, you know. Weren't too bad. At least I top 4'd. So anyway, I'll go into my matchups probably afterwards. So, right, we got lead, triple Tierce, double Megalo, one Tidal, triple Pike, double Turge, triple Lind, one Gund, all the standard stuff. But now, this is where it gets a bit different. I'm now running one Abyss Dine, with one Abyss Hild, and that's my mobile, and one Abyss Osea. These three level 3 Mermail monsters. I'm trying this whole method out because I've heard a lot of people talk about Hild. Because when it's sent to the graveyard by any means, you can special summon a Mermail from your hand. Whereas Abyss Dine, when it's added to your hand by a card effect, you can special summon it. Or, if this card is special summoned via a Mermail effect, you can revive one level 3 Mermail monster from your graveyard. Only condition is, you can only activate one of these effects per turn, and you must control another face-up Mermail to activate either of these effects. So she is balanced in that aspect, but I think possibly a little bit too balanced. There's a neat little combo, whereas you go Pike or Turge, pitch your Hild to the graveyard. Say you have a Dine in hand, or you search out a Dine if you pitch for Pike. Hild goes to the grave. You resolve the effect of your Mermail monster that you pitched Dine with. Hild with, then you use Hild's effect to special summon Dine, then Dine's effect will revive Hild, so that's an instant rank 3. Also a nice little combo is, say you have a level 7 monster on the field, like Abyss Tierce for instance. You can summon Osea, and you can use Osea's effect to bring out a level 4 and a level 3, because that makes the level 7. And you can special summon Dine out, and you know, if you've got another level 3, you can obviously overlay something like Leviathan Dragon Detach and make other plays. The play is actually a little bit stronger with the likes of Aqua Spirit. I'm not running Aqua Spirit in this build and still sort of messing around with the build. I haven't found a build I'm 100% happy with. But there's loads of videos on YouTube about that, and I'm not qualified enough in the Mermail area yet to discuss all the different combos, but I'm just trying this out, you know, these 3 one-offs. Then obviously you got the Lanterns, you got your Dragoons, you double Marksman, and you double Heavy Infantry. I've seen a lot of people only play one Heavy Infantry with all these April 2014 videos. And I don't understand the theory of only one Heavy Infantry. I find 2 to be good, because sometimes I don't even see 2. Sometimes when I want a Heavy Infantry, I've got a Marksman, you know. I know Marksman's good for popping any set cards. And the only face-up things on the field, most of the time, are going to be monsters. So, I'm just thinking, why wouldn't you want the extra monster removal? But hey, that's just me. So, that's the monsters. Moving on to the spells. Double Soul Charge. Yep, I'm on that bandwagon. I am running double Soul Charge in Mermails, and it is a surprisingly good card. You don't want it early game. Unfortunately, for me, a lot of my matchups, I saw Soul Charge in the early game. But mid to late game, it is so clutch, because even the ability to just pay 1,000 life points to get back something like a Pike or a Turge or a Tierce or a Megalo or whatever you need to make an Xyz play or to make a combo play or whatever, because effects will trigger. Effects aren't negated with Soul Charge. You just can't conduct your battle phase. So, you know, it's pretty good. It's quite versatile. I quite like it. I probably would not run any more than 2. 2's enough. I mean, the deck already has enough special summoning stuff as it is, and you don't want to burn all your life points out too early, because obviously if you run 3 and then like later in the game, whereas when you've already activated 2, you draw into your 3rd and like you don't really have enough life points to spare for it. So I think 2's the right number. Double salvage. I don't understand people who only run 1 salvage. I think you need as much recursion in the deck as possible, so I like 2. That's just my player preference. And then of course double MST Dark Hole. Moving on to the traps. We got triple Abyss Sphere. And then we got double Fiendish Chain. Now these Fiendish Chains are replacing the Mirror Forces I once had in the deck, because more times than not I found myself really wanting to shut down the opponent's plays, and rather running something as situational as Veiler. Yes, I was called Veiler situational because you can only activate it during your opponent's main phase. You can activate this during the battle phase, you can activate this during end phases, all sorts. That's its diversity. I understand MST and Twister are a thing, you know, don't get me wrong, but I want more effect negation. So going along with these 2 Fiendish Chains, I've also got my double breakthrough skill, my TT and my warning for my one-offs. You know, it seems to work. My Fiendish Chain didn't get MST'd that often, maybe once or twice. So yeah, they'd rather save it for the Abyss Sphere, so it can bait out MSTs if you like. So yeah, that's the main deck. And then moving on to the extra, we got our Gorson Karibo token for our Dracosac tokens. Fortune Tune, because now we're running a lot more level 3s. And as you notice, I'm not running Undyne, so there are no synchros. Obviously, we got our Abyss Trite for our Bahamut Shock, Mechquit Engineer, Ghost Trick Alucard, Laviaire, and Leviathan Dragon. That's our rank 3s. Cowboy, Dweller, Chain, Arc, and Shark. Arc and Shark. So yeah, that's our rank 4s. And then Big Eye, Master of Blades, Dracosac, Abyss Gaios. Abyss Gaios is so clutch, guys. I really can't stress. Most of the time, I don't even want to make Dracosac because Abyss Gaios is the better play. He's the more controlling play, and against certain matchups, he's just really boss because level 5 and higher monsters can't attack, and you can detach material from this card to negate any monster effects on the field, which have lower attack points than himself, and there are a lot of things with lower than 2/8 attack points. Yes, you can't negate things like Red Dragon Archfiend or the likes of, you know, Stardust, which is a trigger to trigger and a cost to tribute itself, but you know, they can't attack, and honestly there's not a lot of Xyz out there that are going to run over this. You know, yeah, they can activate monster effects to try and blow it up, or they're going to have to burn back row resources, but I just really like Gaios, and I'm thinking about possibly running 2. But Big Eye still puts in work. I wouldn't replace Big Eye though. So yeah, that's the Xyz, and then moving on to the side deck, we got double Maxi. Maxi's coming back into the side because more and more people at my locals are starting to special summon. and I was sort of half preparing to go to Nats, but unfortunately I don't have the money for it now, guys, so unfortunately I won't see you at Nats, but I'll be there with you in spirit. So Double Mech C, Trap Eater, still a good card, although I only got to use it once. I used it against a 10 Sen or 10 Ken or something like that in my top 4 match against 3.5 Axis Fire Fist, which was kind of nice because it allowed me to make a rank 4 play. System Down, Double Zombie World, Double Xyz Encore, the Third Space, Double Light Mirror, Double Shadow Mirror, and Double Debunk. So yeah, that's my deck list, guys. So I'm going to talk about my matchups. Round 1, I can't remember at this point, strangely enough. I know round 2, oh that was it, round 1 I had Constellars. I lost 2-0. It's kind of disappointing, but the deck gave me some really janky hands. So not a really lot to talk about that with. Round 2, what did I have? I had Heretics. There was some kid there running Heretics. He had all the cards, don't get me wrong. He had, you know, the Ashes and the Atoms and all things like that. So, you know, he wasn't inherently bad, but I kind of stalled behind this little beauty right here. Where is she? I stalled behind her for quite a while because he got a Force Focus on the field. Not quite sure why he was running Force Focus, but hey, who am I to judge on personal choices? But because Force Focus is on 2-8 and Abyss Trite is on 2-8 defense, he couldn't get over her, so he was just sitting there, and I was stalling on her and just drawing into more and more cards until I got all the cards in hand I needed to just go hard as a motherfucker. Or ham, as Doc K would say. So yeah, I beat him 2-0. First game was a bit of a wash. The second game was quite a bit more of a challenge, but you know, luckily storing up behind that 2800 ass saved my life. Then round 3, I won against my mate Colin with his Dark Worlds. Game 1, he didn't have exactly a great hand. He didn't do all the nasty shit that they're known for, you know, dealings, drag down, reckless upstart, etc. He didn't do any of that. And then game 2, I beat him as well, although it's a lot more of a closer game. But he just didn't get any of his usual plays off, where he just sort of cycled through the deck, discarding my entire hand as he went through. He didn't get any of that, which I was kind of glad of, to be honest. Then round 4, I went against Harpies. Game 1, I lost terribly. I had the worst hand imaginable. I think I only had one monster in hand, which was a Marksman. I had a Fiendish Chain, a Breakthrough Skill, a TT, and something else face down. Oh, that was it, an MST. He burned through all my back row, with the likes of Icarus Attack and things like that. And then the turn after, I set this Marksman to try and cover my arse. I draw into Abyss Tears, and I was just like, shit. I wish I'd never set that Marksman now. The deck was just kind of like, nope, you're going to lose this one. Nope, I don't want to work for you. Nope. It's like, come on, please. It's like, no. It's like, fuck you. So yeah, game 1 I lost. Game 2, I smashed him. Absolutely smashed him. I broke them back doors in well and truly. And then game 3, it was a lot more of a back and forth game. He got out that strange Exceed, I can't remember its name, but it's a water rank 4, requires 2 winged beasts. It's a normal rare Exceed monster, but basically its effect is it can detach one Exceed material from this card to negate all face up monster effects your opponent has, and then it gains 300 for each face up card on the field. So it negates all my monster effects and then gains 300 for each face up card. That was annoying to get over. But I managed to bring out a big eye through a soul charge nonetheless, because soul charge was just so clutch in that game. I was able to bring out a big eye through soul charge, getting 2 level 7s out the grave, make that big eye and take control of it, which was really nice, and it kind of sealed me the game. And then we went into the top 4 after only 4 rounds of Swiss, and I faced against my friend Adam Chung, who was running 3.5 Axis Fire Fist. Game 1, I lost due to my own, if you like, impatience. Basically what happened was I'd ended up using both my soul charges, so I was on 700 life points by this point. I had him on 2000. I made a pretty good comeback because I forced out his TT with my second soul charge. Luckily I still had something in hand to play with. So he TT'd that, which kind of cleared up the board, and for quite a few turns it was just like draw, set, pass, draw, set, pass. And I was on 700, he was on 2000. I knew he'd... oh, that was it, yeah. I knew he had face downs, but I was like, they can't be anything, because he's let some attacks through, which lured me into a full sense of security, because he didn't have any monsters on board. So they're not battle-reacted tracks like Depress and Omeriforce, because he'd have used them by now. So when I go to make the finishing blow with one attack, I think was with a Abyss Pike or something, and he flips over Horn of the Phantom Beast. I was like, shit! And basically, his monster gained 800, and I lost 800, which was 100 more life points than he needed to game me with. So if I was a bit more passive, I could have probably won that game. But hey ho, you know, it's all a learning experience. Game 2, I just outsped him. I blowed up a lot of his back row with marksmans and stuff. I got quite a few combos out, and I just outplayed him. It was a fair enough game. Then game 3, that was the game in which I drew into my Trap Eater, and when he flipped over a Tenken or a Tensen, I can't remember which one it was. Main phase 2, I just sort of dropped Trap Eater. And he's like, what the fuck does this thing do? So he read it and he's like, that's fine. And which got rid of his trap, which was really nice. And then I overlaid and made him rank 4. But, you know, we were actually going into time. Time was called on the rounds as we were going into our third and final game. And I really wish I'd decided out my soul charges, because I drew it in my opening hand and I could not afford to lose any life points. We went to the 5-turn rule. Whoever could do the most life point damage won. Unfortunately, that was him. If that soul charge had been anything else, I reckon it could have been a completely different game. Not saying that I could have won, I'm just saying it wouldn't have been so much of a landslide. But yeah, you know, shit happens. So yeah, sorry to prattle on. This is my Mermail deck update. Hope you enjoy. Please do leave some constructive criticism on how to improve the deck. I've been thinking about adding Genex Undyne along with Genex Controller into the deck, so I can pitch Healed into the graveyard, a lot easier to activate her effect, especially on a Mermail from hand. Like, for instance, Dine or a Pike or something like that. In a sense, it is going a little bit of a neg, but then at the same time it's not, because you go Undyne, send heal to the grave, add a Genetic Controller, Healed's effect, special summon a Mermail. So really it's more of a 1-for-1 rather than going minus, but you know, it's just some theory I'm coming up with. So I would like your help, guys, to implement that stratagem of 1 Genetic Controller and 1 Undyne into this build, with the Dine and the Healed already being in there. So any constructive criticism whatsoever is most appreciated. I do read your comments, guys. I was reading a comment the other day about, and actually having a discussion with some people on my Fire King deck video. They were saying, why don't you use Fire Fist Boar to go into your Gorilla and your Bear, and it's a floater, it's a tuner, it's better than Flamebell Magician, and all this stuff. While they were right in certain aspects, I told them that it needs to synchron summon into a fire monster, and since I only run 1 level 3, it's not worth running Black Rose, and the only level 8 fire monster that is actually worth running would be Crimson Blader. And, you know, although it frees up a lot of rank 4 space, I don't have Exciton and things like that. You know, there's probably some more rank 4s I could probably throw in there, but, you know, I'm kind of limited by my options. So, you know. Anyway, I've taken up more than enough of your time. I do apologise, guys. So, probably tune in next week where I'll have some other deck update or deck profile or something. It seems to be quite weekly now. And I'll try and record some profile videos. So yeah, catch you guys later. Next, signing out. Peace.